So in English, I can say my cup, your cup, his or her cup, its cup, our cup, your cup, plural, and their cup. All right. So these words, the my, your, his or her, its, our, your plural, and their, okay, those are what we call possessive adjectives. Okay, and today I want us to look at the equivalent of those in Twi. Okay, coming right up. Hello again, my name is Yaw and you're welcome to another Twi grammar lesson right here on LearnAkan.com. Today I want us to look at possessive adjectives. Okay, so obviously this is a very important topic because if we need to indicate possession, we need possessive adjectives and we need possessive pronouns. Okay, and we are going to look at possessive pronouns in our next lesson. Okay, but today I want us to focus on possessive adjectives. All right, so just as its name suggests, these are adjectives. Okay, they are adjectives, and we know that the function of adjectives is to describe nouns. Okay, so we use adjectives to describe nouns, and that is what possessive adjectives basically do. Okay, so we use possessive adjectives to describe nouns. So for example, if I put my in front of a noun, so just as I did in the beginning with cup, if I put my in front of cup, it describes the cup. It tells you that the cup belongs to me. I own the cup. So it is describing the noun cup to you, for you to know that it belongs to me. And that is the function of an adjective, describing nouns. Okay, so if you were wondering what possessive adjectives were, they are just adjectives used to indicate possession. Okay, so possessive adjectives are adjectives used to indicate possession or mark ownership. Okay, indicate ownership. Those are what we call possessive adjectives. So now that you know what possessive adjectives are, let's go ahead and list the possessive adjectives that we have in Twi. So we have me, wo, and I hope you remember that in Twi we don't distinguish between the masculine and feminine gender as far as pronouns are concerned. All right, and this is the same thing with the possessive adjectives. So for his and her, we use the same thing, ne. All right, and again we have ne, and then we have yen, we have mo, and then we have one. Okay, so again you can tell that apart from his and her and its, so apart from those three, which is two in Twi because we don't distinguish between his and her. Okay, so apart from those two, you can tell that what we have left is pretty much the same as the subject and object pronouns that we looked at in our previous lessons, right? So the difference between the Twi subject pronouns and the Twi object pronouns and the Twi possessive adjectives just have to do with the third person singular masculine and feminine, and then the third person singular neutral. So that's just where the differences are. Okay, apart from those, everything else is the same. Okay, so I'm hoping that this makes things easy for you so that you are able to memorize the subject pronouns, the object pronouns, and then the possessive adjectives. Now let's go ahead and use the possessive adjectives that we've looked at in some simple possessive phrases, all right? Just as we did with the cup, all right? And we are starting with me, my, and we are using cup. So we will have me crua, me crua, me crua, me crua. Wo sika, wo sika, wo sika. Nempabwa, nempabwa, nempabwa. Nentabine, nentabine, nentabine. Yen aswording, yen aswording, yen aswording. Mo subine, mo subine, mo subine. And one suku, one suku, one suku. And to end today's lesson, let's look at 2 points to note about these possessive adjectives. Okay, and the first one, and this is very important. So the first one is that if you have any of the singular possessive adjectives, okay, so any singular possessive adjective, and the singular possessive adjectives that we have are me, okay, and then we have wo, we have ne for his and her, and then we have ne for its. Okay, so if you have any of these singular possessive adjectives, and it is being followed by a noun that begins with the letter R, okay, then you need to do 3 things. Okay, and again, this is very important, so I'm going to go back and take it again. So I'm saying that if you have any of the singular possessive adjectives, so we have me, we have wo, we have ne for his and her, and then we have ne for its. Okay, if you have any of these and it is being followed by a noun that begins with the letter R, then you need to do 3 things. Okay, and the first thing to do is to delete the vowel in the possessive adjective. Okay, so you can see that each of the singular possessive adjectives comes with a vowel, right? And it is this vowel that you need to delete in the first step. Okay, and in place of that vowel, and this is the second step, so in place of that vowel, you introduce an apostrophe. Okay, so for the first step, you delete the vowel in the possessive adjective, and then in place of that vowel that you just deleted, for the second step, you introduce an apostrophe. Okay, and then the third and last step is to combine what you now have with the noun that begins with the letter R into a unit in writing. Okay, so you put those two together in writing. Again, this is very important, so I'm going to go back and take it again. Okay, so I'm saying that if you come by any of the singular possessive adjectives, so me, wo, ne for his and her, and ne for its. If you come by any of these possessive adjectives and it is being followed by a noun that begins with the letter R, okay, then you need to do 3 things. And the first thing to do is to delete the vowel in that possessive adjective. Okay, and then for the second step, in place of that vowel that you just deleted, you introduce an apostrophe. Okay, and the third and last step is to combine what you now have with the noun that begins with the letter R into a unit in writing. Now let's go ahead and test each of the singular possessive adjectives against a noun that begins with the letter R. All right, and see how they turn up. Okay, and for the noun we are going to use any. Okay, any. So obviously this begins with the letter R. So let's peg this against each of the singular possessive adjectives and see how they look. All right, so for the first one we will have many, and not me, any. No, so we will have many. Okay, so for wo we will have weni, and not wo, any. No, so it's weni. Okay, and for his and her we will have nanny, and not ne, any. No, so it's nanny. Okay, and for it again we will have nanny. All right, so the context will let you know whether we are talking about his or her I or its I. All right, so nanny. The second point is like a fallout from the first one. Okay, so what we just talked about, the rule that we just applied to the singular possessive adjectives, do not apply to the plural possessive adjectives. Okay, that's the second point. So what we just talked about does not apply to the plural possessive adjectives. So for the plural possessive adjectives, whether the noun that follows begins with the letter R or any letter for that matter, you do not apply what we just talked about to them. Okay, so you write them just as you would with the singular possessive adjectives when they are not followed by nouns that begin with the letter R. Okay, so for the singular possessive adjectives, when they are followed by nouns that do not begin with the letter R, we do not apply the steps that we just discussed. We write the singular possessive adjectives separate and in full from the noun. Okay, and that is the same thing that we do with the plural possessive adjective. So if you have a plural possessive adjective and it is followed by any noun at all, it doesn't matter whether the noun starts with the letter R or any letter for that matter, you do not apply the steps that we talked about in our first point. You write that plural possessive adjective separate from that noun and in full. Okay, so you do not delete any vowel, you do not introduce any apostrophe, and you do not combine the possessive adjective with the noun that is being possessed. Thank you guys for watching. This is where we end today's lesson. I hope you found this useful. If you did find it useful, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and leave a comment in the comment section below, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Thank you very much. I'll see you next time.